When Donald Trump won the presidency back in 2024, there was a lot of discussion about why people voted for him. Obviously, there's a MAGA base that voted for Trump, but there were a lot of people that were sort of in the middle, and they wanted things to be different. But did they really want things to be blown up? Because that's what we're watching happen right now. Hello, my name is Brian Kennedy. I'm the mayor of Glendale, Wisconsin, president of Democratic Municipal Officials, and a member of the DNC. Follow me for local government and Democratic Party content. So Donald Trump is a change agent, but I would actually argue that he is an agent of chaos. He is about blowing things up. It's quite ironic that somebody who spent his entire lifetime as a builder, trying to build his own name brand as well as build hotels and casinos and golf courses, is now, as a president, somebody who's trying to destroy the very fabric of our international alliances and of the civil rights protections that we've had in this country. So we're going to talk about destruction and instability at an international level as well as a national level. I'm going to start at the international level first because we're seeing right now a distraction from what's happening in Minneapolis as Trump is trying to deflect and have us pay more attention to what's happening in places like Greenland and elsewhere around the world. But the international alliances that have existed since the end of World War II, that have created a large world marketplace for U.S. goods, and the U.S. has been a marketplace for many European and other countries' goods, that alliance is disappearing. In Donald Trump's first days back in office, he imposed massive tariffs on countries that had been our close allies and trading partners and friends for decades. That's created a significant distrust. He also then, just a few months ago, invaded Venezuela and captured the president and brought the president of Venezuela to the United States to stand trial. That has also created a significant amount of distrust because he did so without seeking the approval of Congress. And these world powers have watched Donald Trump do these things with no pushback whatsoever from Congress. And they recognize that Congress has always been a check on the presidential power. And when Congress ceases to do its job, as we're seeing happen with this Republican-controlled Congress, it means the president can pretty much do whatever he wants, and that creates an incredible amount of fear and instability across the world. Now let's turn our focus internally. Since Donald Trump took office, he has devastated parts of the federal government that serve everyday people. Whether it's the Department of Education that makes sure that special education funding exists so that kids with special needs are able to be mainstreamed in our public schools, or whether it's overseeing a student loan program, the change in childhood vaccinations. So many different aspects of our federal government have been decimated under this president. But nothing has been as bad as what we've seen happen with ICE, the expansion of ICE, and the power it's taken into American cities. The One Big Beautiful Bill actually gave ICE the largest expansion of any agency within the federal government. The budget for ICE alone and its immigration enforcement is bigger than all other law enforcement entities of the federal government combined. And so ICE now has an incredible amount of money behind it to create a force that will go into America's cities, poorly trained, without professionalism, without engaging with the public in the way in which trained law enforcement typically will engage with the public. These guys are wearing masks, they have no identification, and they're abducting people off the streets. They're ripping people out of cars, they're going door to door. It's essentially become a secret police state. And when you have organizations operating within our federal government like that, it hurts the reputation of all law enforcement because nobody is able then to trust anyone who's wearing a badge, and certainly not anyone who's wearing a mask. Lastly, I want to talk about this proposed Board of Peace that Trump wants to implement to rebuild Gaza and then to be responsible for rebuilding other hotspots as future crises happen around the world. Donald Trump has created this Board of Peace that will be funded with a $1 billion minimum contribution from anyone who wants to have a seat. That means that people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who aren't countries, could buy a seat at the table. That is not how we've typically operated in situations like this. Typically, we work with many other countries, we create a coalition, and we go in together as a United Nations or as a NATO peacekeeping force to help rebuild those areas. That is not what we're likely to see. We are looking, instead of an international alliance of countries that come together, we are looking at an international alliance of billionaires. There's nothing in the Board of Peace that indicates that someone like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos couldn't buy a seat at the table with a $1 billion contribution. So we're looking at the oligarchs wanting to take over and rebuild Gaza and then rebuild God knows what as future crises happen. So Donald Trump, when he got elected, said he was going to be a change agent. He's very much been a change agent. But the question, though, for people who voted for him who aren't MAGA diehards to consider right now is this the change you voted for? Did you vote to just blow shit up? Or did you vote for somebody who was going to make constructive change that makes your life better? Because I would argue that having Americans living in fear, having fear among our allies and friends around the world, and creating a situation in which billionaires are going to rebuild Gaza and then other areas around the world, isn't really what I think you voted for. I think you got taken